to Tales from the Pit, episode number 4. Today, I don't know what will end up happening today because we've got Tony in town from Long Island working on AI with me, and we've been together so far this whole week. For the beginning of the week, we'll be together all week, and it's been exciting, nerdy stuff that we can do. Sort of brings back the ideas of programming from back in the 80s when we thought we had AI back in the days. And it turned out that it didn't work. A lot of the same thought process you can use today, but AI today is much more advanced and does work. So we're going to spend the rest of this week together, hopefully messing with AI to the point that it is an assistant to my OMNI. And of course, I would never try to make AI find my OMNI trades and all that good stuff and turn into the OMNI, but I'm certainly going to make it an assistant for me. So that instead of me having to look at 500 markets all night long, it'll find a bunch of markets for me, narrow them down, and go after these ones, Oscar. It's kind of what we're hoping to do. I don't think AI is at a point, nor is trading with testing of AI at a point where anyone should be getting involved in these new models that say, AI, I've got the AI model, it trades, it taps into the winning part of your brain because it's AI and you need to join my service and get behind my trading. It's all BS, I promise you, because we haven't had a chance to test it yet. AI came out, I don't know, 30, 40 days ago. The markets have not gone through turmoil. There has not been market crashes. There has not been meltdowns. We haven't had news come out of the woodwork. And you know what I mean? So AI hasn't lived through 2008. It hasn't lived through flash crash. It hasn't lived through COVID. We don't know how it's going to act. It needs to be tested first if it's truly trying to trade a model that people created where it's actually trying to trade your money for you. I would say, as far as that's concerned, sit on the sidelines a little while. Let the first or second couple of disasters take place in our markets, and if that AI program is still kicking butt after that happens, maybe then you consider getting involved in it. So again, the AI program that we're building is more of an assistant to help Oscar with his OMNI than it would be to go out and actually try to find trades. I don't think you should be putting your money in anything that is purely AI going after trades right now. I just don't think we're ready for that yet. But it will, maybe that day will occur. We're just not there at the moment. Let me pull out our chat room. This way we've got a place for you guys to talk to me. That we'll put right here. So if you'd like to ask any questions, please do. So that's been the topic here this week. I've been excited about it. It's, really brings me back to the 80s stuff. Just the thinking, laying in bed at night thinking about this stuff. I'm thinking in terms of what we used to use in the late 80s, mid 80s. So how about you, Tony? How do you feel about this? Pretty exciting, right?
He's not in here.
Tony's not in here right now?
No.
I have a wall of screen, so I can't tell that Tony's not on the other side of it right now. When he comes back in, we'll see what he thinks about it. So, is anybody working on anything AI, by the way? If you have questions or anything of that nature, you can just hop in my chat room, which should be right under this video, or right next to it, and you can type your questions there. It's this one right here, of course. I have found it exciting. Hopefully it will be a fantastic aid to our entire industry, this AI, as we teach it how to be smarter about how to think about markets. Hey, Tony, I was just talking about you. What do you think about this crazy AI stuff that we're working on this week? Exciting stuff, right?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I'm actually doing my live stream right now, where normally what I've been doing is taking them chronologically in order through my life.
Right, starting out.
But being that you're here this week and we're doing so much fun with AI, I don't know, I'm caught up talking about that right now. How do you not,
Exactly.
So I was just telling them, it makes me go back to like the 80s and mid 80s, the way we used to think about AI programming back then, even though it didn't work. It's what we get to do again today, but the AI will work.
It will work.
Yeah, big difference. Really exciting stuff.
And then you have to decide whether to believe the answer or not? Is it getting it from a good source or a bad source?
Well, there is that. AI does lie at the moment by accident. It doesn't realize it's lying, but it'll pull the answer from any source it finds.
Right.
So there are times where AI, you ask it a question and it'll give you an answer, and it'll incorporate some stuff that it read in some weird science fiction book and put that into the answer with it. You know what I mean?
The physics book or the science fiction book. Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't know the difference.
So it dreams is what it does, believe it or not. It actually dreams. So because it has those, not that it's dreaming, but it dreams up things about the questions that you're asking it, and I don't think it's old enough yet to decipher what's fake and what's real out of the stuff that we've written as humans, and it's read through, you know. Right. So it needs to mature a little, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty exciting.
As I always say, I'm attacking AI, artificial intelligence, with real stupidity.
What's going on, Ponzi? So, yeah, we've got the whole rest of the week to continue, well, the rest of my life to continue, but me and Tony are together this week, which makes it a lot easier to get a lot more progress done with, hopefully with AI and markets. So I don't know if you guys are working on any of your own projects, but I will, of course, use what we're building this week to help enhance what we do together in our normal lives. So, you know, not that I'm exactly in chronological order yet, but AI had come out, I guess it was around 85-ish, 87, somewhere around there. We started working on AI back on the trading floors and in the back offices because it looked like we could literally talk to the computers, give it a few rules, and it would think forward for us and sort of create the trades. Well, as we all found out after zillions and zillions of dollars later, it was not ready to think forward AI back then. It just couldn't do it. Now, reasoning for that was what was in AI's thought process back then was only rules that programmers put in that they thought the AI would need to make decisions, which means the AI was about as smart as the input. And you know how they say garbage in, garbage out, especially with computing. The way that we fed AI back in the 80s, we weren't feeding it properly. So it wasn't able to actually learn going forward. And the whole thing blew up and everybody abandoned ship on AI in probably 91, 2-ish. It was gone. We all just said, well, this is never going to work. Not with today's technology. So difference being, feed a bunch of information into a computer and then have it think through that information and come up with answers. Today's AI is completely different. Today's AI, picture it like this. Imagine you have a friend that's gone to college forever. He's just been in college since, the day the earth started. And he goes to college every day and he's read every book that's ever been penned by the human race. And this guy can remember every word in every chapter on every page. And now you guys are sitting around and the question comes up and we have to solve that question. Well, who's sitting around the table has the greatest knowledge to solve that question? The guy we know that went to college and read every book in the world and can remember those books. Well, AI today is that. Basically, what it does is it taps into the knowledge of everything that it's read and it generates the answer like a human would, based on an intelligent brain full of knowledge. It doesn't just run out and grab an answer from the internet and say, here's your answer. It doesn't go into its database and go, okay, they talked about water. These are my answers on water. It doesn't do that at all. It uses all the knowledge that it has in its brain like a human would and does research on top of it to check itself and then comes back with an answer. Now that's different than the AI we were messing with in the 80s and 90s, which is why today I have a feeling we have a much better shot of AI and OMNI coming together and something smart happening. So that's a huge difference, right? That's a huge leap forward in how this AI computer gets to think. Now it gets to tap into all the knowledge that's out there and make its own decisions. as opposed to going through lists of almost coded answers that will be used on specific questions. So pretty exciting that we've moved forward in that direction. The other thing about AI is the question was posed upon me to my son Mikey, in fact, when he said, Mikey, weren't we talking about if AI was just used for big business and not given out to the public? Would it be better? Could you imagine big business having that edge on us and we're not allowed to use it? The smartest thing that could have ever happened was that they released it to us and the public, and big business and the public will have to deal with it and coincide and figure out how to survive together much better than giving them such a powerful tool over us. So the first thing that came out of my mouth was, no, what are you, crazy? Giving it to just big business? They'll make matters a lot worse with it than a bunch of people around the earth that'll come up with really smart, creative ideas to help one another with. So I'm glad they released AI to the public and didn't think maybe it was dangerous for us and should only go to the larger entities out there. That would have been bad. Anything else you got going on today, Mikey? Being that I just mentioned your name?
No, that was the only thing I could think of when we had the AI discussion. On top of, it's just crazy to see like the progression of how this has gone so far, and just where we're at now and how old I am with AI finally coming out like this.
Ponzi says, congratulations, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you, Mikey, for your
You're all good.
graduation.
Thank you very much.
The big party's this Sunday. Ponzi, you coming? It's going to be a big bash. So the AI, as I was mentioning, the AI back in the day, really, I mean, when you look at AI today, that wasn't AI. I mean, that was us thinking that if we gave the computer some smart answers, it would give us it would solve some smart questions. Today's AI, much different. I promise you, today's AI is going to actually help. So, when let's see, I'll talk just about a little bit of stuff that'll lead us into tomorrow's episode, which will be right back to the trading floor. There's probably 500 things that would have been worth talking about that were part of my junior high into high school and the foray with working with the boys from Brooklyn all that time. I don't know that I could say some of it. Some of it I don't know that I can mention here. Good morning, Lewis. Well, too bad, Ponzi. You would be welcome if you wanted to come out and see our party, because you have been hanging around me for quite some time and you've been a good guy as well. So we would love to have you come out one day. In fact, for you Omniacs that are listening, we had thrown an Omniac gathering a few years back, and several hundred of us got together, and it lasted for 3 days, and it was a fantastic Omni gathering. I think I may want to do another one of those, but this time I'll open it up for any and all Omniacs that have ever known me, as opposed to the last bash we threw was for ex-Omni campers. Big difference, you know what I mean? That's a small crew. I should open it up. We should have a bash where we open it up for everybody. Hey, Ponzi, I just try to help the world the way the world helps me. Oh, Dano was at that party. Hangover lasted 4 days. I remember in the morning waking up and finding people sleeping all over the place. That was fun. I was wise enough, though, to invite all the neighbors in the tri-state area, so to speak, around my block to make sure that they would be there, too. This is the first time watching my show. Excited to learn about my trading, and if we're using AI as part of our trading's entries and exits. Well, Lewis, when I'm done with AI this week, forget about being done. When we're done with the project we're working on during this week and start testing, I'll let you know exactly what parts that I'm going to allow AI to help me go after. But I will tell you this, AI is too new for me to allow it to make any Omni decisions as a whole, so it's only going to be used as an aid for us for now. as time progresses, if it turns out to be Superman, Batman, and every other superhero combined, well, then we'll go with it, But remember, and as Tony's my witness, and we both discovered together, as well as I was kind of noticing in the last few weeks, AI truly is only as smart as you make it. I mean, if you're kind of stupid with what you ask it, I promise you it's going to come back with kind of stupid stuff as well. So you really do have to know what to ask it. And something I wrote in the trading room the last couple of days, after observing it, it appears to me that if you are a genius mathematician, you and AI know how to speak to one another. It's not so much about coming up with ideas and speaking in English. You want to be able to teach it exactly what to go after, more in scientific terms if you can, even though it's got no problem with taking proper English and turning it into what it thinks you're thinking about, and that's where the disconnect comes in. It's going to turn it into what it thinks you want, but if you give it scientific calculations, it will come back to exactly what you want. Big difference there, So you got to be careful how you speak to it. So, Lewis, usually this session here, this 30-minute session that we call Tales from the Pit, usually it's me in my trading jacket telling you all great stuff. Can you guys see that trading jacket? No, yeah, you can. It's just slightly delayed. It's usually me telling stories about stuff that happened on the floor, and I will bring in all sorts of interesting tricks, tips, techniques, accolades, stories, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, crazy stuff that happened and didn't, because I literally plan on chronologically going over my entire life in this insane business over, day after day during these sessions. Now, this is a daily thing. So there may be days like today where we just off topic for a little while because something a little more exciting than my silly life is out in front of my eyes, like AI. So today was sort of breaking topic a little, but tomorrow I'll get back into, well, then again, Tony is still here. You never know what I'll talk about tomorrow. But by next week, when I'm sitting back here alone and we're not AI typing during the day, I'll bring us back to the trading floor. Where we left off, just thinking chronologically, is I had brought you guys through a whole session of my insane junior high school years, and then my high school years and some of the antics that were pulled off there, and working with the boys, which then brought me down to the floor. And I told you guys all about how I had lost my first job because I was having my shoes shined on the ferry on the way in and didn't realize the ferry docked, and I missed getting off, you know what I mean? And one thing led to another, and it brought me to a spot where Dominic Orsiello, rest in peace, sir, my mentor, took an interest in me and put his arm around me and basically said, protege, mentor, let's see what you got, kid. And that was a great portion of my life, which lasted for some time, and the lessons were out of control, over the top, good lessons from the person I was taking it from, because he was so elevated on the exchange at what he did. We looked at him like, whoa, everybody did, you know what I mean? Dominic went by and it was like, whoa. So somehow I was blessed enough to train with him and be his protege, and basically, he treated me like I was his son. He had old daughters. He had a little son, but he was little at the time. I was like an older teenage son for him, so that was a good relationship that we had as far as mentor, plus like the kid I never had, even though I did have one, but he's not your age yet. We used to do things like, Dominic was smart. He would do things like he would get the crew together, and we would have to go out to the Great American Trading Picnic. At the time it was GAT. We used to have to go out to the picnic and play volleyball and all sorts of great games and sports against each other, and he would make sure that what we would do, the high level, and it's really, really high level, by the way, on the trading floor, the tension at so high level, and some people get a little angry with each other and maybe they bicker a little, and he would always make sure that we went out and had some fun together. He was into picnics and parties and parks and stuff, not going out with the boys on a Friday night. So he would always make it an athletic type of event. But it really does help when you take your crowd of workers and just get them out of the work environment and let them have some social fun with each other. It really does go a long way when you all come back. One of the one of the things that we had done was we took, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe 250 of us from the trading floor decided to go out to Long Island and have a paintball fight. So back then, paintball was a lot newer, and certainly the object was to capture someone's flag and get it back to home base, and then you guys win. It was literally set up like war games. And I remember we had a friend that showed up, and he wore like 17 t-shirts. He had 17 changes of clothes all on, and every time he'd get shot, he would just rip something off, throw it in the woods, keep on playing. We just would do all sorts of fun stuff like that. The exchange, when you have a whole bunch of people from the exchange in the same spot, you have never, ever seen a crowd like this, ever. I'm talking ridiculously over the top, shouldn't have this kind of money type guys. A lot of it for them is new money, so they know nothing about money to begin with. So we're all new money guys. We're not blue blood families. Everyone's making way too much money, and we're loud and obnoxious and fun. And imagine having a few thousand of us all in one place. So we decided, we had a friend of ours that joined the Arena Football League. And we said, hey, Arena Football League, let's go. 500 of us get tickets all on the exchange, and we're all going to go. We take an entire 2 sections to ourselves. Bam, 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 bam in Madison Square Garden. So immediately the insanity starts. I mean, these guys break out booze and pot and cigarettes and stuff, and we turned our section into an insane nightclub. And the guards are screaming, you guys got to stop, you can't stay, oh, you guys are going to have to go. All of a sudden, about 25 guards all hold hands and start coming towards us to try to do something about us. And all of us just start screaming, hell no, we won't go. The whole place got to the point that the guards just went, that's it. Just turned around and let us tear the place up for the next 4 hours. There's such strength and unity. And, when you have guys that are used to yelling and screaming all day, well, they speak very loud and do a lot of yelling and screaming at night, especially when they're drinking. So it was always an exciting event when we went out together. We used to do Golden Gloves boxing. In fact, Walter Hansen used to manage Golden Glove fighters. Once again, you know what I mean? We'd get half the people in the Felt Forum would be the exchange. And we'd all go down there and, cheer on Walter's fighters. But it was always the same. You put a few thousand of us lunatics in the same room. I mean, the antics would just be out of control. Now, us same cats were all forced to be in one little spot on the trading floor for 8 hours a day. And all the craziness that happened off the floor happened on the floor, too. You just had to know what was going on. You had to know where to be and who to be part of. But that was a really, really sick place for me to enter into at my, right near my 18th birthday, in fact. Yeah, I was just turning 18 when I started on the trading floor and went and got that job at Becker Kipnis, AG Becker Kipnis, with Eddie Arginio, that whole story I told you about, when he took me over to Dominic. So, and it was just right after my 18th birthday when I started to work on the trading floor. And even though it might sound like it happened quickly, all of 18, all of 19, all of 20, and all of 21, most of 21, I worked for Dominic Orsiello and another company on the trading floor, not for myself. But I hit the floor at 18, and by the time I was 21, I was a broker, working for myself, who backed myself to get in the ring. I'll explain all that crap to you in one of our episodes when I get there chronologically. But I ended up a broker I hit that floor at 18, and by 21, I was a broker with a badge on the COMEX exchange. Eventually, I was a broker on the COMEX and sugar, coffee, cocoa exchange. So I was able to trade gold, silver, copper, platinum, palladium, options on all of that, coffee, sugar, cocoa. Eventually I then added in what used to be called the knife exchange, where the dollar index traded and the Russell 2000 traded. So I used to also, dollar index, Russell 2000. Yeah, so I also used to trade in that exchange. So I had a badge that allowed me to trade on 3 out of 4 exchanges. And I had tons of clerks that worked with me at each exchange. So as I start developing, as I start explaining to you my life as from a phone clerk to a ring clerk to actually ending up in the pit and then advancing over to the coffee, sugar, cocoa, and then finally the knife exchange, all of these moves have fantastic stories that go with them. And it's not just for entertainment. There's so much education, I promise you, that will come with it. But where we're at now in my story, not enough, we're not just banging out day after day on the trading floor. I'm assuming within the next 2 episodes, that's where we're going to be. But again, today's episode, I just wanted to hang out and talk to you guys a little bit about just what's happening with the AI. Some questions here. Well, Lewis says, thank you. I'm super interested to hear about your AI results. Lewis, absolutely, I am. More interested than you, I promise. I've been waiting for this day since I was born. I thought I was a computer programmer at 12 when we didn't have computers. I've been waiting for this day a long time. You know what? I've been waiting for this day when I can mess with AI that will work almost as badly as I was waiting for my son Mikey to finally turn 21 so he could, well, actually he was 18. I couldn't wait for him to turn 18 so he can get his license one day and take me out so I could have a drink and not have to drive home. I think I was anticipating almost that much. I was waiting for that moment for his whole life. I've been waiting for this AI just like that. Waiting, one day it's going to happen. So I've got so many ideas on how to use it and where it will go. I just want to see it in practicality, do the things that I expect from it. And once I can trust it, I'm a big person on trust. And one of the first tests, if you recall, that we did together with AI, when I did the open AI session, I did a live streaming like this using AI, and I allowed us to ask questions. So that first go at it, I was all right. I don't know that we'd call that too exciting. But we were all just trying to figure out what to say to it, right? So the AI is a lot smarter than it was that day that we were messing with it because we were asking it stupid questions. So it was giving us stupid results. But it is much more handy than that. You're going to see some really interesting results coming out, hopefully this week from my personal testing. But once I get my brain into being able to trust that AI is coming out with these scans properly, and the scans that I'm finding are actually doing the right job, I am going to take this all over the place. I mean, I literally have been waiting. I've been asking these questions of AI to myself for years and years, waiting for this day. So I've got a lot of places I want to take it, I'll tell you that much. As far as trading, because I was sort of here before charts meant anything more than voodoo point and figure. I was here before there were computers and the internet, and I've watched this whole business merge and literally helped merge our trading industry with all that technology. This way more exciting than that was. This is I think it's a moment in our history that we'll be able to look back at and say, yeah, I remember when AI came out because this is what happened to me within the next couple of years. I think we're all going to have an AI story like that. Yeah, I know where I was when AI came out, because not too long after AI came out, when you're reminiscing a few years from now, you're going to have your AI story. We're all going to have one. I'm building ours right now. So, all right. So today is what? Tuesday? Wednesday? Wednesday. Tomorrow, do we have a graduation tomorrow? Is that Natalie's graduation?
Yes.
We do. That means we're not going to be here at this time, huh? I think my daughter graduates tomorrow. I just don't know if it's before or after this period of time, which is 1 to 1:30. So I don't know if I'll be able to stream tomorrow, but certainly if not, we'll do it on Friday. I think I'll be watching my lovely, talented daughter, I call her my superstar, Natalie, graduate from high school tomorrow at around this time. Well, thank you, Tarek. I appreciate that. She's a sharp kid. You know, she's the musician, writes her own music, plays tons of instruments, writes good music. She's graduating school with a cosmetology license and a high school diploma, is going into college, and does bang up technical analysis when I ask her to. So she's got some stuff going on, this little one. We'll see where she ends up. Anyway, all right, so I broke away from code just a little bit today because I just felt like having a relaxed day. But tomorrow I'll be at the... Mike, it is tomorrow, right? We're going to double check on that?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
What time?
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow at noon, which means I will not be here for this. All right, so Friday we'll do more. I'll bring you back to that spot where we left off, where I just started as a ring clerk on the exchange, and we'll go through my whole life doing that craziness on the exchange and how it brought us all the way to where we are today. And I will bring you to Technotainment Streaming Media, which is the streaming company using blockchain and crypto that we are building today. The latest technology to come our way. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, again, tomorrow I'll be out of here, but Friday we'll get more into the floor stuff. Although Tony will still be in town, so you never know. We might be testing AI together on Friday. We'll see where that goes. Traders, thanks for tuning in. I will see you on Friday. And then remember, stops are in. Emotions are out. Kids, thank you for tuning in. I will see you on Friday.